Welcome, everyone, to Philadelphia and the start of another Big Monday presented by Bud Light. Tonight from the sold-out Wachovia Center, the Big East offering matches the top team in the conference, the Pittsburgh Panthers, at 19-3 overall, ranked number 7 in the nation, hosted by the Villanova Wildcats. They are 14-6. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Sean McDonough along with Jay Billis and Bill Raftery. Delighted to have you with us for the only regular season meeting between these two Pennsylvania rivals. And Jay, the Pitt Panthers, the preseason pick to win the Big East in the coaches poll, and so far they've lived up to that advanced billing.
You know, Sean, they've always been big, they've always been strong, they've always been resolute defensively, but I think what's different about this Pittsburgh team is they score easier. And one of the reasons they're a very good three-point shooting team, and I think they shoot it much better this year because they're a better passing team, and that's going to be a real challenge for Villanova. How can they get really good pressure on this Pittsburgh team but not let them cut them up with their great passing?
It's a Villanova team that's already had a number of quality wins this season. They had a 3-game winning streak snapped at Notre Dame Saturday, and you could see in that game, Bill, they could use Curtis Sumter returning to good health.
Well, this is a game of stars, and Jay and I certainly hope our star shows up this evening. Curtis Sumter is so important in this game. He's got to play big, in a sense, low post, but step out, make shots, be able to run the floor. He's got to be a big factor. You're correct, Sean.
Let's take a look now at Star Watch, and when you talk about the Pitt Panthers, their leading scorer and rebounder for the season, Aaron Gray.
Such a big presence in the middle, especially on the glass. When he gets the ball and gets double-teamed, he's a very good passer as well. He finds people.
And the ability of Scotty Reynolds not deferring now, just asserting himself, getting into the mix deep and on penetration. He's been a big-time factor, as those numbers prove.
Let's take a look now at the starting lineups for Pittsburgh. They've had great guard play all year from Levance Fields and Antonio Graves, joined in the starting lineup by the transfer Mike Cook, Levon Kendall, and Gray. For Villanova, the freshman Reynolds with Mike Nardi in the backcourt, Shane Clark, Dante Cunningham, and Will Sheridan the starting front court. Curtis Sumter will come off the bench early. The same starting lineup in every game this season, all 23 now, for the Pittsburgh Panthers. This telecast is being broadcast on ESPN HD, presented by Olivia. Curtis Sumter played 26 minutes in the loss Saturday at Notre Dame. Bill, in part out of necessity, they had others in foul trouble. There were more minutes than Jay Wright wanted to play him. Curtis Sumter, for those who don't know, bothered the last 4 games by a deep bone bruise on his left shin. He's getting better every day, but still not 100%.
You know, you made a valid point during the course of the game. He was okay in his half-court play, Jay, but running up and down, he was laboring. So I think it's essential that he be healthy, obviously, and contribute a great deal.
I think you can see there with Jay Wright, he's a little bit disconcerted right now because Sean McDonough has a nicer tan than he does.
Ooh, a first for the year.
Well, I was in Mexico. I don't know where Jay got his in Philadelphia, but we made a trip to Mexico for a week. His suit is certainly a lot nicer than mine. They're hoping that Curtis Sumter won't need that wrap around his left leg much longer. Of course, missed all of last year for knee surgery, the two unrelated. Mike Kitts throws the ball in the air. Aaron Gray controlled the tip for Pittsburgh. They went out of bounds, so it'll be Villanova's basketball. And Mike Nardi will play it in.
And Sean McDonough, Jay Billis. Pick goes.
Considering your third game in 3 days, not bad voice on the
I got it right.
Delivery. Yes, you did. Mike Nardi, that's a deep 2 that pops in.
And right away, Villanova putting on some full court pressure. A 1-2-2 3-quarter court press.
And Mike Cook went to the basket. There was contact and no foul. Levance Fields now running the show. He's been outstanding with the ball all year. A great assist-to-turnover ratio, 107 assists and only 39 turnovers this year.
And Gray, a great target when he gets in the box. He begs beautifully. They screen to get him low.
Antonio Graves, the senior, strong drive, missed with the left, tipped out by Clark, but it wound up with Kendall. Back for Graves. And a tip by Cook wouldn't go. Finally controlled by Villanova's Dante Cunningham.
Well, Kendall keeps it alive, Jay.
And Kendall, what a great pass fake to get that shot in the corner. Never panicked, made the pass fake, made the defense move. Wide open shot, they just missed it.
Levon Kendall, really the prototypical glue guy. The player does a little bit of everything to help the team win. Big factor for Jamie Dixon and the Pittsburgh Panthers. They come in having won 9 of their last 10 games. The only loss in that stretch in overtime to Marquette. Cunningham the miss. And the 7-footer Gray with the rebound.
And Cunningham turned the wrong way on that shot.
Cook, a transfer from East Carolina, sat out last year and playing in his hometown tonight. He might be a little jittery early. He's from Philadelphia. A lot of family members and friends in attendance.
Oh, you got to give it to him. It's a little late with the pass.
And intercepted. Nardi the push. Interesting to see if fatigue is a factor for Villanova. They had a hard-fought game Saturday at Notre Dame, and Reynolds, the man with the ball who runs the show, played 38 minutes in that game.
Reggie Redding will play a little bit to help them.
Nardi rebounded by Gray. Just the second 7-footer to play at Pitt. Mark Blount, now in the NBA with Minnesota, was the other.
Good
and
hands.
they lost to Cunningham with those good hands.
Well, he is such an emerging defender. Did a great job, I thought, on Kevin Durant when Villanova played Texas last week. Just a long, active body.
And Sean, it's important that Villanova score. They can set up the defense, keep it in the full court area.
Ball struck a foot and now a race for it. Gray saved it for Fields. Contested by Sheridan and out of bounds last touch by Fields. So Pittsburgh shut out nearly 3 minutes into the game. It's 2-0 Nova.
And Gray's hurt a little bit. He took about 4 photographers out on that. Great hustle play, but he is hurting coming into the front court.
Reynolds, freshman from Herndon, Virginia. They doubled him for a moment, and he missed a three. Villanova a bit content to jack up the early three here in the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, for one pass, that's not a great shot, but you can see that Villanova, a lot of run-out ball screens. They want to make Aaron Gray run.
And Gray scores the first Pittsburgh points 3 minutes and 15 seconds into the game. He was the preseason player of the year in the Big East, and you see Curtis Sumter very early on getting ready to check in for Villanova.
Yeah, Gray, a double-double machine.
Cunningham lowered his shoulder and got called for travel by Bob Donato. Mike Kitts and Carl Hess, the other officials. So here comes Sumter. 3 minutes and 34 seconds into the game. The fifth-year senior from Brooklyn who missed all of last year after having knee surgery twice in a span of 7 months on his left knee.
And that should enable them to get him involved a little bit, not jacking up those deep shots you alluded to. Look how deep this catch is.
And the foul by Sheridan. Gray will go to the line with a chance for three.
Well, you can complain all you want to about the post defense. One of the problems when Aaron Gray gets really good angle inside, you've got to put great pressure on the passer. Otherwise, that defender, you can just pick him apart. Bump Sheridan got caught just too high up on the high side. And Aaron Gray plays angles as well as any big guy in America.
And he's such a big target. And he catches and goes right to the rim, too.
Makes the free throw. He's just 61% from the line. It's a free throw shooting contest. Villanova has the edge tonight. They're the best free throw shooting team in the Big East. 5-2 Pitt. And the sluggish start to this has taken the crowd out of the game very early. They were raucous in the pregame. Sumter, nice move. The leg looked healthy there.
Well, he sure did. He ran a stagger. He was part of the screen and then popped to the corner.
Oh, what a nice step through. The footwork, impressive.
We'll see if Kendall can do some. He's a great screener, and he makes himself available after he screens. These automatic switches might get him open, Sean.
Fields, sophomore, passed it up to Cook. And back for Fields. Only 10 seconds left on the shot clock now.
Look at the matchup with... He can burn you, huh?
Yeah, where was the defense, though? You know, the shot clock was into its final seconds. They backed away and basically gave him an open three.
Well, Nardi got caught on the switch.
That's right. Nardi had the big guy, Sean.
He ran into Aaron Gray and just stuck right to him, and Sheridan didn't get out in time.
Reynolds trouble on the floor. And a held ball. It will go over to Pittsburgh after a timeout. 5 minutes in, the Panthers lead by 4. When we come back, Jay Billis will use his toys to break down one of Villanova's intricate offensive plays.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Refreshingly Smooth Bud Light, always worth it, and in part by CareerBuilder.com. Visit the largest job website, CareerBuilder.com. A better job awaits.
Just a little south of Center City, Philadelphia, the Wachovia Center, where Pittsburgh leads 8-4. And Jay, why don't you take us inside this intricate Villanova offense?
Well, with the help of EA Sports, we'll take a look at how they isolate Curtis Sumter down in the low post. Going to take a little high ball screen, then a diagonal up screen. And Curtis Sumter is going to wind up in the low post isolated. While that's going on the weak side, Villanova is going to set a staggered screen, a staggered double away from Mike Nardi. And if they don't have Sumter, they're going to get Nardi out top to knock down a three. And Villanova does a great job of running some terrific sets that get their people open, and Jay Wright is the architect of those sets, and I think he does it using EA Sports 2K7.
On a daily basis, I'm sure. But the bigs then drag the big defenders away, too, so there's pretty good offensive position by a better matchup.
Pittsburgh leading 8-4. They missed their first 4 field goal attempts. They're 3 for 3 since. Ronald Ramon with the ball in off the Pittsburgh bench. He's usually instant offense as their 6th man. Keith Benjamin is checked in. Sam Young with the ball now, also off the bench. And on the sideline was Benjamin.
A lot of times guys try to get their balance and push off, and they stick the opposite leg from their pivot foot backwards and step out of bounds. Got to be more careful.
Got to know where you are, basically. Ronald Ramon, what do you want to call him? Toaster? I mean, this kid does get hot when he gets in the game. Great catch and shoot.
Strong move by Sumter to the basket. Villanova had turned it over on 3 of their previous 5 possessions. 4 points off the bench for Sumter. There's Ramon growing the hair out. Jamie Dixon said he just wants to be a little taller. Didn't mention his nickname. Carl Krauser, the one who called him Double R with radar, because he is an outstanding 3-point shooter.
And one of the best 6 men in the country with the walk right there. The other great 6 man, I would put Ramon up there with Casey Rivers from Clemson. See Curtis Sumter setting the screen and immediately looking for your offense. Oftentimes it's the screener that's going to be open in any play because everybody seems to go with the cutter. And Curtis Sumter, such a difficult matchup because of his size, his skill, and certainly his athleticism.
And they're going to him, too. The other day, once in a while, they forgot about him.
He had a double-double against Notre Dame. 11 points, 10 rebounds in those 26 minutes. Shane Clark missed a 3. Sheridan got it back to Nardi. He's been called after shooting well from beyond the arc in the last couple of games, and a foul on the follow attempt. Curtis Sumter put it up. He'll go to the line for 2. This is the start of Big Monday. Coming up next, the Big 12 matchup from Lincoln as Nebraska hosts Brandon Rush and number 6 Kansas. The Cornhuskers led by Alex March, 5th in the Big 12 in both rebounding and scoring. Big Monday presented by Bud Light. That game at 9 Eastern time approximately. Also available in high definition on ESPN HD.
And that rebound, Sean, by Sumter, a little more enthusiasm out there. Much more aggressive play.
Well, Villanova was really enthusiastic in the warm-up before the game. I mean, they were jumping all over the place. And on the other end, Pittsburgh, very stoic, very businesslike. There's not a whole lot you can tell from that, but certainly this team doesn't look very tired, Villanova.
1 out of 2 from the line for Sumter. He scored the last 5 Villanova points. The foul was on Graves, his first.
Well, this all helps the defense down low on Gray. Late in the shot clock. Later, I should say.
Ramon desperately trying to get it to Gray. Well defended by Sumter, and then it's turned over to Sumter.
Yeah, the great length and athleticism of Clark really bothered Ramon.
Nardi got away with a dangerous pass, deflected out of bounds by Pittsburgh.
He sure did, but all of this pressure full court sets up your defense. A little wider out in the post up. He's been generally down on the box to step through. And you're right about that pass. That was a tough gamble.
And Bill, there's the value of pressure on the ball. Shane Clark doing a great job. And even if Gray would have been open for a second, Ronald Ramon couldn't see him because of that great ball pressure.
Now look at the matchup down there.
Sheridan and Nardi with Clark, Sumter, and Cunningham for Villanova, trying to reclaim the lead. More than 7 minutes gone by here in the first half.
Take him with the dribble, huh?
Sumter with the much shorter Fields on him. Missed the turnaround jumper. Rebounded by the Canadian Levon Kendall.
And you got to give Kendall a lot of credit there defensively. His help side defense kept the ball from going into Sumter when he had a bad matchup.
And there's his screen. They can play small with Kendall. A lot of the league has 3 and 4 guys on the perimeter.
Fields missed, and Sumter another rebound. We mentioned at the top of the telecast they could use a big performance by Sumter, and they're getting it. And then Fields a bit too frisky in the backcourt. He fouled Nardi.
And not a really sharp play by Sumter. He's the one that enabled. That was almost a steal. And Jay Wright saying, hey, wake up.
First foul on Fields, the second team foul against Jamie Dixon's Panthers. With a win tonight, it'll be 4 straight seasons in as many years as head coach for Dixon with 20 wins or more. He's already the only coach in Pitt history to win 20 games plus in 3 straight seasons.
Amazing. They'd have 4 straight NCAAs. He is out of the gate.
Here's the play we just diagrammed for him, and they're getting it low to Sumter so he can go one-on-one in the low box.
And Kendall just stood his ground.
So both teams scuffling at the offensive end. Keith Benjamin steps into a 3.
Well, that's
the
what they
junior
have.
from Mount Vernon, New York. Sorry, Bill.
No, just saying that's what they have. They have perimeter guys that loosen it up.
3 points for Benjamin. He averages 4 a game. They're 9 men deep, the Pitt Panthers. Jamie Dixon says he feels like he has 9 starters. Shane Clark answers with a 3 at the other end with a sophomore from Philadelphia.
And Sean, you were saying today Clark and Cunningham have really improved in the course of the 6-7 week season.
Well, they're starting to come together now. Cunningham especially has done a terrific job over his last 4 or 5 games.
Averaging nearly 15 points per game during that stretch. Dante Cunningham, a wild shot by Young, but Kendall was there to clean it up.
Kendall just plays. I mean, he is solid. All facets of the game. Great knowledge.
The only thing with Kendall you'd like to see a little more of is that he gets a little more aggressive offensively. Great pass.
Reggie Redding and Dante Cunningham will have a chance to tie it after immediate timeout. When we come back, we'll take a close look at some of the freshmen who have impacted college basketball this season. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, a 1-point lead over Villanova. Friends, don't forget to check out ESPN2 on Wednesday as freshman phenoms Greg Oden and Kevin Durant will both be in action. A lot of freshmen, Jay, making an impact around the country. We're looking at one tonight in Scotty Reynolds, and here are some others.
Well, no one's more talented as a freshman than Kevin Durant of Texas. I think Greg Oden will be the #1 pick whenever he decides to come out. The lefty Brandon Wright has been spectacular at North Carolina. And I think Ryan Anderson at Cal, an underpublicized freshman, having a great year. And, DJ Augustine, I think one of the better freshman guards. You could have put Mike Conley from Ohio State in there. And
how about Hawes, and how about here at Villanova, Sean?
Scotty Reynolds.
If you did it over the last 7 games, he'd be right at the top of that list. You can keep going on. You put Jeremy Wise up there from Southern Miss, having a great year. There's so many great freshmen.
List every freshman in the country, then you two can cover all your bases and not offend anybody. Dante Cunningham made the free throw to tie the game. Mike Cook back in for Pitt. 2 Fields with Ramon, Kendall, and Gray for Jamie Dixon.
Playing bigger again. I think they got to take advantage of the size. There's that little guard screen, almost Stockton Malone, and a double.
Cook, a little too strong with the bank, and the rebound to Scotty Reynolds with Clark, Redding, Cunningham, and Sheridan for Villanova. Sumter back on the bench. Tough runner, and a tip wouldn't go. After Reynolds missed it, Sheridan tipped it, would not fall. Cook played 2 years at East Carolina, was their leading scorer. Ramon a miss. Rebound Sheridan. Midway through the half, tied at 13. Reynolds lost control. 3-on-1.
Pretty.
Kendall got it back from Cook and was fouled by Reggie Redding.
Good foul, too. Boy, solid play. A lot of big guys would kick it give it up incorrectly, but right here they are prepared to contain the bounce, and pretty good transition play.
You can see the strength there of Levance Fields as Reynolds was driving right into him. It looked like he got hit by a car, and he just stood there, and all of a sudden Reynolds goes down.
He's a strong-looking guy.
Levon Kendall shooting 2. The foul on Redding is first. Villanova's second team foul. Kendall 72% for the year from the line.
This is one area, Sean, where I think Pittsburgh a little bit vulnerable. Not a very good free throw shooting team overall.
If you're wondering, Doyle Hudson, a bench player from the Bahamas, the other international player on the Pittsburgh team. Jamie Dixon excited about his recruiting, and he did a lot of it this year in this Philadelphia area. Has 2 commitments from local players. He's going to stick around after the game tonight and watch some of those incoming recruits, as Pittsburgh does not play for 9 days after this game tonight.
And he's got 2 kids from Philly, so to change it his recruiting base.
Yeah, one of them a senior, Bradley Wanamaker, 6'4", out of Roman Catholic. Is going to be a real good player.
Gray blocked Reynolds' shot. Cook the miss. Kendall tried to save it, and it'll be Pittsburgh's ball.
They're getting in the lane. It's just a little tougher with the big guy. What a formidable obstacle.
Fields, a sophomore from Brooklyn, out of Xaverian High School in the New York City area.
Good pass.
Oh, how deep he got, too. Great little repost, huh?
Kendall to Gray. After Marquette beat Pittsburgh, the only Big East loss so far for the Panthers, Tom Crean, the Marquette coach, talked about how well Kendall and Gray, a couple of roommates, work together on the court. They do a great job in tandem.
That screen proof in the pudding.
Sumter, a tough shot, hit on the arm by Gray.
Jay, before talking about the screener usually gets free. The pop out sets that baby up, and the ability of that big frame to duck in. And Jay, he's got either hand. He knows angles, as you said. He catches and leans, and a lot of great strength from the toes up.
First foul on Gray, 4th team foul. So Sumter back at the line.
Gray really bailed him out. I think Sumter, whenever he's got Gray or Kendall on him, has to use his superior athleticism, put the ball on the floor, and drive those 2.
Nardi in, Reggie Redding out. That'll be the test for that leg tonight. Sumter, if he is at full use of his athletic skills, or is the leg still going to hinder him?
And one of the things he has to do is get back so he can practice with these younger guys and get them used to him being a threat.
Kendall tried to find his pal Gray again, threw it off the side of the backboard. Reynolds 1-on-4, not intimidated. The tip wouldn't go for Sumter. He has another chance. Now a tip by Shane Clark.
And Sumter running the floor made that happen.
And there were 4 Pittsburgh Panthers there, but Villanova wanted it more.
Reynolds is off to a rough start for Villanova. Shane Clark, the defensive rebound, then he was fouled.
This team, Villanova, they're smaller, but they go after it hard. Reynolds getting to the 10, and nobody turns to box out Curtis Sumter. He outran everyone and got to the glass, and Shane Clark does the same thing. Everybody jumping instead of putting a body on someone.
And the rested guards are helping Villanova. They've yo-yoed Nardi and Reynolds, saved them for late.
Yeah, Reynolds 38 minutes Saturday in a hard-fought game. Nardi played 35 minutes before fouling out. Reynolds really looked tired at the end of the ball game Saturday afternoon in South Bend, and he's 0 for 4 from the floor so far tonight. Kendall's foul was his first and Pittsburgh's 5th.
Sumter trying to post Mike Cook down low.
Seen Drummond into the ball game for Villanova, gives them some size. Because of Pittsburgh's size, this is the kind of game Drummond can play in. He does not play much against teams that aren't as big. Reynolds rebounds as Pittsburgh's gone cold here with 7.5 to go in the half. Sumter for the lead. And there is Kasim Drummond, the freshman from West Orange, New Jersey. Nardi's 3 rattles out.
Well, he stepped right in. That kick out, beautiful, and a tough one to deal with.
Cook ran into Drummond. Cook thought he was fouled. Reynolds has Drummond with him. Reynolds the miss. Drummond there to clean up the mess.
Is Pittsburgh going to run? I mean, they're just jogging.
Villanova with the lead, and Jamie Dixon with the timeout. The Wachovia Center, the crowd back to life as Villanova has taken a 1-point lead.
Well, Villanova on the turnover, getting out quickly on the break. But watch Pittsburgh here. After it's turned over here by Mike Cook, everybody just kind of looking around. Yeah. Whose fault is it? Instead of getting back, Aaron Gray all by himself, and Kasim Drummond just able to lay it in easily. I mean, you got to have a sense of urgency, especially when you're playing on the road.
Cook was looking for the foul, looked for the official, and how about the big fella getting the puppies up and down?
Aaron Gray out of the ball game right now.
And that kind of transition defense is bad for a summer league.
Sam Young, a little strong with the shot. Tyrell Biggs just off the bench with the rebound, the sophomore. Seeing his first action of the night. Cook. And the rebound by Cunningham. Cook still pitching an offer from the floor, now 0 for 4.
And Pitt did get back that time, Jay. Good
nice pass. Yes, indeed. Nardi into Cunningham, and he was fouled. Both Biggs and Fields were there. And the foul's on Biggs, his first. It's Big Monday presented by Bud Light from the Wachovia Center in Philadelphia. Number 7 Pittsburgh taking on Villanova. Sean McDonough with Jay Billis and Bill Raftery. Jay insisted his name be listed first this week. Therefore, the order on the graphic. What's at stake tonight? First place, sole possession thereof for Pittsburgh at 7-1. Winners of 9 of the last 10 that only lost to Marquette. 2 of their 3 losses this year have been in overtime, including the one to Tom Crean's team. Georgetown and Louisville tied for 3rd in this tightly bunched Big East Conference race, and the most shocking thing at the bottom is to see Connecticut at 2-5 after their loss Saturday to Providence, Tim Welsh's much improved Friar Club. If the Big East tournament began today, and of course it seems silly to say that because it does not, but if it did, Connecticut would not make the trip to New York.
I do think they're going to improve, though. They're awfully young, make some mistakes. We're going to see them in another week. They're going to get better. But how about Louisville? No one's talked about them. I think they've done a great job down there.
They really have, and they've gotten healthy now, a little bit more healthy anyway, getting Juan Palacios back. But a lot of surprises in that first 8 relative to the preseason prognostications to have Providence up there in West Virginia and Louisville.
You know, part of the fun in coaching, other than guy Trump.
Fields had it taken away, deflected by Clark to Redding. Sumter charges down the lane, and a chance for a 3-point play.
He's ready today, exploding off that pivot foot.
Pittsburgh just getting out-fought, out-toughed, out-hustled.
And you seldom say that. But this has kept the game in the middle of the floor, the pressure, and then the ability to kick, get settled, and here, open up the lane and go with a little blow-by.
Well, you don't often say Levance Fields was weak with the ball. Not strong with it, weak. I mean, that was a decent trap, not a great one, and he kind of gave it away.
Foul on Biggs, his second. Pittsburgh 7, so they're over the limit. Sumter made the free throw. The 3-point play gives Villanova the largest lead of the night. They're up 6. Sumter's been excellent. Off the bench, 9 points. Cook to Kendall. And out to Fields for 3. Levance Fields, a big part of their success. They're the best 3-point shooting team in the league at better than 40%. He's at 41% for the year.
You know, the more you watch Pitt, if Kendall or Gray touch the ball, good things happen. That inside-out 3, take advantage of those big guys when they're on the floor.
Well, one of the first times they've made some passes, and that was Pittsburgh basketball right there, moving the ball.
We talk about the lack of hustle and focus from Pittsburgh, and it's almost jarring to see because so much of what they've accomplished under Ben Howland and Jamie Dixon is a result of effort and intensity. Sumter continues to shine. That leg looks like it's just about 100% back. 12 points for Curtis Sumter off the bench.
And the patience to kick it out. A lot of guys would have the shot blocked.
Gray surrounded.
But when Gray doesn't have it, he passes right back out.
They're going to get it to him on a repost. What a fancy Dan move, huh?
To get the open shot. Fields missed it, however, and Cunningham tracked down the free ball in the corner.
And nobody from Villanova leaves to go to the other end until they've secured the ball. This is a team that sends all 5 guys to the defensive glass.
They have out-rebounded their opponents by nearly 6 per game. Tough pass. Drummond handled it from Nardi. The shot clock at 10. Nardi with a much taller Kendall on him. Clark is open for 3. And a good rebound in traffic by Mike Cook with Dante Cunningham on his back.
Well, they got the high-low if they want it.
Cook gave it up to Fields. And Cunningham controls for Villanova. Nardi, a senior, making his 113th career start tonight out of Linden, New Jersey.
What a terrific career for Villanova.
Great competitor. Looks so much fresher. Well, on cue.
Nice job, gentlemen. You're season 4.
Thanks, Mike, for messing us up.
Davis coming up on the UPS halftime report. Has there really been a drop-off in the Big East? And if so, how steep is it? We'll identify some guards who get it and also see if the Duke women can remain perfect. They're in action against Virginia Tech. Digger and Stacy will join me. We'll see you in just a little bit, Sean. So remember what Jay says, never ever push the panic button.
Just a few of the words of wisdom that we live by from the master himself. Big Monday presented by Bud Light. Villanova on a 13-3 run to take a 6-point lead as we go inside the play.
I think Jay's had this problem throughout his playing career. Bigger people, you say, uh-oh, I better save my embarrassment, huh? Kick it out?
Well, I was told to pass it anytime that I caught the ball, and if I ever thought of shooting it, call timeout immediately.
Well, you had some good players, though, with you. Allery, Johnny D. Not too bad, huh? To kick it to. And he has played the best I've seen him this year, Sean Sumter, in these few minutes.
He's had an excellent game. Part of that front court that's carrying the load. The Villanova guards do look a little fatigued off that performance Saturday against Notre Dame. And both Nardi and Reynolds played 35-plus very hard minutes. Pittsburgh also played Saturday at home against St. John's. They had an easy win and won by 26. Had a chance to play a lot of people a lot of minutes.
A lot of different looks defensively that Pittsburgh has seen, and they've struggled with it.
Look at these hands. They are really active.
Boy, Reggie Redding had it, and then Kendall battled back. They didn't reset the shot clock. And it's a shot clock violation. Jamie Dixon saying, wait a minute, they had possession and the shot clock should have reset.
I'll tell you, the hands here, and then Kendall really hanging tough. I would say it wasn't a full possession.
Well, Jamie was convincing enough that at least Bob Donato now is going to summon the other officials. And they're going to talk about whether or not Reggie Redding had possession. If so, the shot clock should have reset. But if none of them called that originally, though, it's a hard thing to do just because the coach tried to talk you into it.
It's a worthwhile shot by Jamie, though. Boy, Pitt does a great job reversing the ball, even though a little disaster at the end of that trip.
So here's Reynolds with Clark, Cunningham, Redding, and Sheridan for Villanova, leading by 6 as we approach 3 minutes left in the half. Clark shut off on the drive by Cook.
Too dangerous.
Yep. Boy, he's just determined to lose the ball here eventually. It's a held ball. Villanova will keep it with 13 to shoot. You could see after a while he wanted to get rid of it and just couldn't.
I'm just thinking of some of the things coaches told me when you over-dribbled, you know, what to do with the ball.
We've told you to do that a few times, too.
Not a pleasant thought.
A good job by Cunningham to come to the ball after the screen.
Now look at the way he held his pivot foot there.
Getting toward that time when they need a shot, and Clark turned it over with a travel with the shot clock at 5. Super Tuesday, that's tomorrow. It's presented as always by Lexus, an attractive doubleheader. The Battle of Mississippi. Mississippi State and Ole Miss, followed at 9 by Michigan State and Illinois. Michigan State, Illinois also available on ESPN HD in stunning high definition.
Good pass back out. Villanova is so active.
A lot of athletic, hardworking defenders. Graves for 3.
And they're big guys, as Jay mentioned. They don't hold on to it if they don't. Kendall's great at it. Gray as well. Kick it out and let somebody else be doing something constructive.
Well, Pittsburgh had been ice cold. It's just their 3rd field goal in the last 9 minutes, and yet they're down by only 3 with 2 minutes to go in the half. Mike Cook called for the foul as he tried to defend Sumter on the edge of the lane.
He's been doing a lot of clutching and grabbing down there because Sumter has an advantage.
And Jay, this is what I love. They move the ball. If they don't have anything, they kick it to one another. They get open looks. It started with Gray kicking it out to the top, not doing anything foolish in the low box.
And that's a difference this year for this Pittsburgh team to have Mike Cook, the transfer from East Carolina, available. He can get into the lane, pretty good off the bounce, draws the defense, and kicks it out.
Sumter made the front end of a 1-and-1. The foul on Cook is first, the team's 8th. Sumter played 26 minutes, struggled with his shot Saturday against Notre Dame, much more productive, and far fewer minutes tonight against an excellent defensive team in Pittsburgh. Sumter has scored the last 8 for Villanova, the lead 5 with under 2 minutes to go.
They got a kick back there, I believe. They have kept them in the backcourt 6-7 minutes. Then they do a little over the timeline. Not as fluid, Pitt, offensively because of that.
Ramon. Cunningham and Nardi double.
Can't pick it up there.
Contested the shot. It was the pass, rather. It was last touched by Cook.
That was Ronald Ramon's turnover. You cannot pick the ball up in what is often called the coffin corner.
Well, you know what happened? He had 1 second to get over the timeline. He had many thoughts, but also they're not posting at the top of the key. You got to give him some options as well.
Keith Benjamin back in. 10 turnovers now for Pittsburgh. They're leading the country in assists to turnover ratio at 1.61. That would also be the school record for the season if they could end with that number.
Villanova really making Aaron Gray come away from the basket.
And that's a nice job with the bounce, though. Sumter knew he had Gray. Unfortunately, lost it at the end.
Well, good hands by Benjamin. He reached in to deflect the ball off the leg of Sumter and caused the turnover for Villanova.
Boy, good players really salivate when you got the big guy. Put it on the deck and get by him.
Pressure again from the Wildcats.
Can't catch it there.
Graves in trouble in that coffin corner again. He had to call a timeout. Well, we talked again at the top of the telecast about the importance Sumter to return to form if Villanova is going to beat one of the best teams in the country, and he's been nearly at his best tonight.
Boy, just a great basketball player. And you really feel for this young man with all the injuries. 2 ACLs this year coming back. He's got a bruised tibia, hasn't been able to play, hasn't been able to practice, but you can see the raw talent that he's got, the athleticism. And he's such a difficult matchup because he can take a bigger guy out on the perimeter. He can post a smaller guy.
And you know, he's typical of this team. They lost to Syracuse, come home and beat Texas. Lose to Notre Dame, come out here with a great effort. I mean, you're right. He's been through so much, Jay. Your heart goes out to him.
Well, it's a Villanova team that's already stockpiled a lot of quality wins when you look toward Jay's favorite time of the year, Bubble Boy time. They've won against Iowa, at Oklahoma. They have a win at Georgetown, the victory at Notre Dame, against Notre Dame at home, a win over Texas, a win at Providence. A lot of quality wins on the resume already, and hoping for another tonight against Pitt.
And they beat LaSalle, by the way, a quality win.
Spoken like a true explorer. Good defense by Sheridan. He stepped in and drew the charge from Levance Fields, the second personal on Jamie Dixon's point guard.
We give a lot of credit to Bump Sheridan for moving his feet, but Bill, don't you get the feeling this is not a sharp Pittsburgh team right now?
They're in a hurry, almost. They're having difficulty with the pressure. I think they've got to go over the top and get it out of the backcourt. You mentioned the coffin corner. We'll go deeper on each side or the top of the key.
11 turnovers. We mentioned they lead the country in assist-to-turnover ratio. Tonight it's 6 assists and 11 turnovers. Gray with good hands on defense as Cunningham tried to put up a shot underneath.
And Nardi hit the pass to the correct hand. Great look.
Keith Benjamin for 3. Good closeout by Nardi. Helped force an errant shot out of bounds. Last touch by Villanova. 23 on the shot clock for Pittsburgh.
Well, Pittsburgh has seemed in a hurry to shoot from the perimeter. When they punch it inside, they get so many better shots.
They've got to feel pretty good too, Jay. Down by 5 and not playing their best.
I got a feeling they're not going to feel pretty good in about 34 seconds in the locker room.
No, I'm sure. Jamie's easy go West Coast demeanor will not prevail.
Ramon open for 3. Short with it. Sumter actually deflected it away from Sheridan, and now a chance for the last shot for Pittsburgh if they want it. They'll take the shot from Gray instead, and now Villanova can hold if it chooses. Nardi a stop and go, and he traveled.
Wow.
5.2 for a shot for Pitt.
I thought Pitt was in a hurry even on that. They could have got the last shot. They're very fortunate on this particular play.
I'm not sure anybody who had the ball in the last possession for either team was aware of the time left in the half.
I think you're right.
Big Monday continues right after our ball game. Brandon Rush and the Jayhawks. Rush averaging 14 points and 5 rebounds per game. Take on Nebraska. Doc Sadler getting good reviews as the Nebraska coach in his first year there, but they don't have a lot of talent, Jay, around that Alex Marich.
And Marich, one of the better scorers in the Big 12. And Kansas has been taking a little bit of criticism lately, even though I think they played really well throughout the season, especially at times they played great. You know, the criticism has been they don't have a go-to guy, but I think Brandon Rush starting to emerge as that. And Mario Chalmers as well. They've got a lot of different options. I still like Kansas as a real contender to get to Atlanta.
One thing to think about here, man, only 2 team fouls against Villanova. They have a lot of fouls to give. If they want, could make it almost impossible for Pittsburgh to get up a shot.
Yeah, they're going to keep him in backcourt as long as they can. That's what they got to do more of.
Benjamin missed a 3. And it's halftime. Villanova ends the half on a 15-6 run. They lead 28-23. Back to Reese Davis in the studio with the UPS halftime report.
All right, Sean, so 28-23. Villanova has the lead. Digger Phelps, Stacey Dales here. Pittsburgh a little bit lethargic in the first half. Probably fortunate they're only down 5, but see Aaron Gray, 7 points, 8 rebounds. But you got a way to come back, don't you?
Can we get him the ball a little bit? Let's stop shooting the perimeter shots and put yourself in a position to do what? Get the ball inside to Aaron Gray. Because what? He goes 3 for 4, 7 points. But if he gets the ball more, let him get his double-double in the first half because he's already got 8 rebounds. But the fact is you come out and you start shooting perimeter shots. You take away your inside game. No. Attack inside. Let them then concentrate on Aaron Gray. Takes it easy. The perimeter shot becomes less restricted that way and you start making them.
Well, Digger, you said a key thing for me, attack inside. Jay Wright has to be very pleased right now because his team is attacking inside. 8 of 10 from the free throw line. Folks, this team shoots 78% from the free throw line. If you look at what they've done in the first half, you might not score in the paint, but when you touch the paint with the ball, that is extremely important. You got Curtis Sumter. He touches the paint. He doesn't always take that shot. You really suck in that Pitt defense, and you force some pressure on Aaron Gray and Levon Kendall in the interior. Maybe get some fouls, pick up some foul calls. That will be very effective. Keep your eye on that in the second half.
Yeah, Sumter looked as good as we've seen him in a while, especially since getting nicked up a little bit against Notre Dame. Villanova with a 28-23 lead at halftime. Still ahead, coming up on the UPS halftime report. We'll check out the Big East and see just how down it is and how many championship contenders are there from this conference, which was a powerhouse a year ago.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by GMC, engineered to the highest standard, professional grade. And Wendy's Deluxe Value Meals, do what tastes right.
Big Monday presented by Bud Light continues from the Wachovia Center. This Big East battle between the first place Pitt Panthers and the Villanova Wildcats. It's the Cats by 5 as we head to the second half. Welcome back to Philadelphia. Sean McDonough along with the Hall of Famer Bill Raftery, the Hall of Famer in his own mind, Jay Billis. Delighted to have you with us. Neither coach could be delighted with the offense men in the first half. Pittsburgh shot just 29.6%, Bill.
And they got stuck taking long jump shots, and they didn't get Gray enough touches simply because they took too much time to get over the timeline. The end of the half, they passed ahead, got a shot. They don't necessarily have to shoot that, Sean, but get it up that fast and then settle. They can reverse it a little bit, Jake.
And for Villanova, Scotty Reynolds has to get more involved in the game. He didn't score in the first half, 0 for 5, turned it over 3 times. He was pressing a little bit. Needs to just relax and play.
Villanova didn't shoot particularly well either, 33% for the half. Villanova with the edge at the line. There's 2 field goals over the last 9.5 minutes for Pittsburgh at the end of the first half. Levance Fields with the ball. Leaves it for Mike Cook. They're out there with Antonio Graves, Aaron Gray, and Levon Kendall to begin the second half. Cunningham saved it along the end line, but it went to Cook. 15 to shoot for Pittsburgh.
And the hands pressure effective.
Kendall from the elbow. Nardi, good job to control it as he fielded it awkwardly.
I think Pittsburgh really has to start pounding the ball inside to Aaron Gray. When he gets touches offensively, good things happen for Pittsburgh.
Reynolds, as Jay mentioned, did not score in the first half, but he had 19 against Notre Dame Saturday, 14 of those after the break. Dante Cunningham scores for Villanova, the lead 7. Cunningham with 7 points.
He's shocking, Sean. I mean, this kid has got a big upside.
Just getting better and better, isn't he?
Yeah, he can post up where he's very good. Now he's expanding it.
And a foul on Reynolds. First foul on Reynolds. Villanova was called for just 2 fouls in the first half.
Nice look.
Gray to Graves, and he was fouled by Shane Clark.
What do you think of the pro aspirations of Gray? He can do so many things. I mean, great look there, Jay.
He'll definitely play in the NBA, and I think play a long time. He's got a big body. He holds his position very well. He rebounds at a high rate, although he doesn't really rebound out of his area. The one and only concern I have about him, Bill, is one, if he's drawn away from the basket guarding there, and then his ability to score over people inside. But outside of that, he's really a solid prospect.
See the numbers. He was the most improved player in the Big East last year. Those first 2 years backed up Chris Taft, who left to go to the NBA. Some of it was increased playing time, but a lot of it was just Gray got a lot better. He lost about 30 pounds over the last couple of seasons of his career. Became a much more nimble player.
And Sean, Scotty showed you there. He's a freshman. Didn't need it. 1 against 3.
Cook still desperate to get one to go in front of the hometown friends and relatives.
Getting it a little bit too deep.
Well, he did such a good job with the shot fake to get around Sheridan. Just should have just pulled up and shot that mid-range jumper, which he has.
Cook has struggled coming in. He'd been in double figures in only one of their previous 4 games. That was the overtime loss to Marquette, and he had 11 points in that extra session game. Hasn't scored tonight, and he's short with that layup. Chance for a run here for Villanova. Reynolds on Fields. Had trouble with the dribble. Had to go gathered in the corner.
I think Reynolds could do some damage right now. Then they switch it up. Cook on him.
A little better sense of urgency by Pittsburgh to get back in transition.
Reynolds with Nardi, Sumter, Sheridan, and Cunningham for Coach Jay Wright.
Good pass
by Cunningham into Sumter. Now they need a shot. They'll get an open 3 from Reynolds.
Great ball movement.
First points for Reynolds, who's been on a tear of late. You wonder if all the minutes are having an impact. Reynolds averaging 19 per game over the last 7.
That's all unselfish play, Sean. Kicking it around the horn.
That's the definition there of the extra pass.
Largest lead for either team now. Cook still hasn't made a field goal, and Gray the offensive rebound and score.
And once again, Levon Kendall in the mix to keep it alive for the big fella to clean it up. And how about this one, Jay? Unselfish.
Now, Nardi could have pulled the trigger on that shot himself, but instead makes the extra pass, really the right pass to Scotty Reynolds. And it's amazing for Reynolds. The first shot that he makes was by far the best shot that he's taken.
For Cook at the line, Gray at the line after the Cook miss. Nardi the foul, his first, the third team foul. They've been called for more fouls. Whoa, they're going to count that.
You know, I think why he got pushed into that. Yep. Instead of calling the cheap foul, he did get a piece of the net, which technically would be a violation.
Yeah, I don't think his hand got pushed into the net.
See him push there, though? See how he's got the shove from the behind? I think it may have been Cunningham.
So the free throw counts for Gray, despite the contact by Cook. Villanova, 3 team fouls already in less than 3 minutes in this half, after being called for only 2 the entire first half. Nice baseline move by Will Sheridan. His first bucket. He's given them very little scoring of late. Had only 2 points against Notre Dame Saturday, only 4 points in the game before that.
And that's the first time he's been in the low post, Sean. He's been facing up, letting Cunningham.
Graves with Sumter.
Pretty look.
And now Gray off the nice pass by Antonio Graves. Another one of those good assist to turnover ratio players. Graves 52 assists, 25 turnovers entering tonight.
Jay, the big guy turns his body beautifully just to ward the guy off. Well, Beg's great.
And he showed great patience. He passed the ball when he didn't have it and immediately went in and posted afterward.
Good defense by Graves. Numbers now for Pittsburgh on the break. And Fields had it blocked, but he was fouled by Dante Cunningham. First foul on the sophomore from Silver Spring, Maryland.
How about the blow-by, huh? The ability to get to the rim, leaving Gray in the dust. And here, use that derriere, back big, and kiss it home.
This telecast is being broadcast on ESPN HD, presented by Olivia. Pittsburgh moved up 2 spots from last week to this week's ESPN coaches poll released today. The Panthers now number 7, and they'll have 9 days off until their next game. They're not in action again until next Wednesday. And you were saying, Bill, you think Wisconsin might run the table the rest of the way.
They've got, Jay mentioned Michigan State late, and they got Indiana. They are a terrific basketball team. You know what else jumps out as we take a look at Jamie? Oregon's year, terrific for Ernie Kent. And Texas A&M, Billy Gillespie's defense, AC Lawton, the 4th. Jones has your kind of body, physique, temperament. They're pretty good.
They are good.
They play Kansas, I see, later on this week.
And one of the guys they've got that I really like is Antanas Kavalauskas. Talk about a guy who plays angles well.
Levance Fields makes 2 free throws. Villanova once up by 9 has seen the lead dwindle to 4. Just more than 4 minutes played here in the second half in Philadelphia. Last meeting between these 2 teams, the only meeting last year, was in the Big East tournament in the semifinals. And Pittsburgh upset Villanova. Of course, the Wildcats were the regular season co-champs with Connecticut. The Pitt played one of its best games of the year and beat Villanova. Kasim Drummond with his second bucket. He averages 2 points per game. He has 4 tonight.
You mentioned earlier there's certain teams he fits the niche, and he's played well tonight.
Big body at 280 pounds, banging with Gray, who's listed at 270. Kasim Drummond 6'10", Gray a 7-footer.
Well, even at 280, Kasim Drummond's able to face up Aaron Gray in the post.
Fields with room from just beyond the free throw line. Levance Fields.
And you don't leave the ball. The slip guy, somebody else worry about him. Don't leave the dribbler.
10 points for the sophomore. He averages 9 per game. Reynolds tried to split the defense. Bad decision. It hit a leg, and now the numbers for Pittsburgh. Gray lost it with Sumter defending, but it was picked up by Cook. His pass deflected by Drummond and picked off by Cunningham. Now Reynolds again a little bit out of control. Stumbled and lost it. It's another turnover.
Jay mentioned earlier the only good shot was his jump shot. Everything he's been out of control. 1 against 3, 1 against 4. And really the right call. He was losing control.
Well, you don't want, the referees aren't going to reward you for being out of control. And he did trip over, it looked like the foot of Sam Young, but he did so because he was out of control, going essentially 1-on-3, 1-on-4.
4 turnovers from Reynolds. He's on the bench now. Sam Young off the bench for Pittsburgh. Out there with Fields, Cook, Gray, and Ramon. The walk. Travel called against Sam Young, the sophomore from Clinton, Maryland, who's had back-to-back double-figure games, but not a factor tonight.
Jamie, a little bit perplexed by some of the things they've been doing. In a hurry, they come out the half recognizing Gray. Now all of a sudden, he's been screening and not getting the ultimate touch.
Anytime they throw it into Aaron Gray, if he doesn't have it, he kicks it back out, then he can repost.
Nardi into Sumter for Clark, Redding, and Sheridan for Villanova. Sumter's shot rejected. Young crashed into Nardi after passing. Fields missed a 3 and then wound up in his own bench.
Well, everybody's shooting it like it's a hand grenade with the pin pulled out.
And in a hurry right here, getting stripped in traffic.
Young took it away from Clark. Fields fouled by Redding. He'll go to the line for 2. This is Big Monday. We go to the Big 12 next for Kansas and Nebraska. Big Monday presented by Bud Light on ESPN. Also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today. And for more information, as always, log on to ESPN.com. Reggie Redding called for his second foul. Already 5 against Villanova. Fields the free throw. Reynolds, after a very short rest, back in. Well, it was 9 fouls to 2 Pittsburgh for Villanova in the first half. It's been reversed here in the second.
You know, Saturday, Monday is tough on these kids. And I noticed Jay particularly rotating people in and out. You mentioned Jamie had a little easier weekend in terms of the competitiveness. Physically demanding.
Couple of free throws by Fields, and now he'll get a brief rest. Levon Kendall back in.
Well, it's funny that one day in between. It can be tough. That's something the Pac-10 does every week. They go Thursday, Saturday. And for them, kind of simulates the NCAA tournament.
And then some of us go every night.
That's true. Nardi missed it. Sheridan kept it alive. Sheridan to the bucket. Jay Wright thought he was fouled. There's no whistle, and Kendall got the ball to Ramon.
Such a good defensive player. Here's the slip by Kendall.
And Sam Young bounces into a long 2. It's an air ball. Reynolds to push the other way. Sheridan guarded tightly by Young, too tightly, and Young called for Pittsburgh's first foul of the half. His second personal. Sam Young, a sophomore from Clinton, Maryland, at a friendly high school. He played on a state championship team, did a year of prep at Hargrave Military Academy in Virginia. Bad pass by Reynolds, his 5th turnover. He gave it back to Young. Benjamin.
And Young in great defensive position, Sean.
2 to tie, 3 for the lead now for Pittsburgh. They were down by 9 only moments ago. An 11-4 run at the moment for the Panthers. Ramon, the junior from the Bronx, son of a professional player. His dad, Ricardo Ramon, played in the Dominican Republic. And there's a 3 for Benjamin and the lead for Pittsburgh.
Hand delivered on that baseline drive, and Benjamin stepping into it, Sean.
Timeout, Villanova, with 12:21 to go.
Back in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh with a 1-point lead after knocking down a 3. take you inside the play to take a look defensively at a gamble made by Mike Nardi. Nardi trying to get around a screen set by Levon Kendall, and Gamble's out top, maybe for the steal, but that opens up the baseline drive by Graves. All 5 guys from Villanova inside the lane because the defense was broken down. Everybody had to rotate to try to stop that drive, and they're able to dish out and get the easy 3-point opportunity.
First lead now for Pittsburgh since it was 17-16. They're on a 14-4 run to overcome a 9-point deficit. Villanova has not handled the ball well lately. They go inside to Cunningham. He makes a strong move and gets called for an offensive foul. Too strong, the move.
All right, a deep post up, the ability, and he actually could have walked too as well with that drop elbow.
Yeah, it was just that extra shoulder and elbow into the defender that drew the whistle.
Second foul on Cunningham. He had 3 very quick fouls in the second half. Had only 1 foul at the half Saturday at Notre Dame, then had 3 in the first couple of minutes of the second half. And Jay Wright felt that was a big turning point in that game.
Absolutely. And right now, Sean, not scoring, a dead ball gives them a chance to press. That has not been a factor in their inability to score.
They come to press Ramon. He got it to Benjamin. They're out there with Graves, Young, and Kendall. Mentioned Ramon's dad was a professional player in the Dominican Republic, Brazil, Argentina. He spent a lot of time in Pittsburgh this summer working out his son and some of his teammates. Kendall knocks down a long 2. The lead 3, their largest lead, was 4 in the first half. Under 11 and a half minutes to go, and the crowd trying to get itself back into the ball game as the Villanova team has gone cold. Shane Clark has a 3 rattled out. It get tipped out to Cunningham.
Good job by Sheridan to tip that ball back out.
Sumter bidding to tie, missed it. Out of bounds to Villanova again after a media timeout. 3-point lead for the number 7 team in the country.
There ain't nobody hot as us up in your spot. Giving it to you play by play and shot for shot. ESPN is in the house, it's pop to pop. The NCAA has got the game on lock, and we can't. Let's go!
The emerging go-to guy for Kansas, Brandon Rush, averaging nearly 16 points per Big 12 outing. Jayhawks taking on the Children of the Corn. Tip 8 minutes after the top of the hour.
Children of the Corn gave Texas a real tussle, a 1-point loss last week against the Longhorns. See if they can be tough at home tonight at the Devaney Center.
Hey, you know, Jay was talking about Kansas being better. Julian White defensively had a bunch of steals the other day. I saw him against South Carolina. Sumter's numbers, first half, sensational. They've got to get him going somehow. He tried to get on track with the 3. They need him going to the rim a little bit.
Only 2 shots taken by Sumter in this half. Villanova hasn't scored in more than 4 minutes. 0 for 5 in that stretch with 5 turnovers. Sumter lost it, but he got hit on the arm by Keith Benjamin. So we go right back to Reese Davis for Sports Center 30 at 30.
All right, Sean, Kentucky Derby champion Barbaro was euthanized this morning. That ended an 8-month ordeal after he fractured his right hind leg at the Preakness. After nearly 2 months delay, Barry Bonds ready to finalize his deal with the Giants. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, his personal trainers won't be allowed in the clubhouse. Sports Center, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, ESPN News all the time.
Well, given all that's happened with Barry Bonds, that sounds like a pretty good idea. 5-second violation against Villanova. They couldn't inbound while Reese was speaking. Perhaps Shane Clark was listening to the update rather than focusing on getting the ball in. A timeout called by Pittsburgh with Ramon in a bit of difficulty in front of the bench. Really, it's come to be kind of a typical Pittsburgh year. You look up at this time of the year, you expect them to have a record such as this, 19-3. A win away from 4 straight 20-win seasons under Jamie Dixon and 6 in a row in all. They've won 9 of the last 10, ranked as high as number 2. They thought when a number of teams were jockeying for position earlier in December, they might vault to number 1. They've never been number 1 before. They were number 2 prior to this year. And you look at the losses, all against very good opponents, gentlemen, and 2 of them in overtime.
You get the feeling he learned very well from Ben Howland. I mean, this is a solid approach. They've got great perimeter scoring, plus the big weapons underneath, and they're formidable when they get rolling.
And they're so experienced. I mean, they have so many veteran players. They're not playing any freshmen of note. And these guys have played together. They've grown up together. This is a solid team.
Jamie Dixon, of course, was an assistant under Ben Howland when they worked together to turn the program around. When Howland left to go to UCLA, he advocated for Jamie Dixon. When Jamie Dixon was hired, an unknown. A lot of people in Pittsburgh, including some columnists, question that decision. They don't question it anymore. Keith Benjamin has given them a great performance off the bench. He has 9. His season high is 11. That was against the Northeastern Huskies in the non-conference early season schedule.
And Graves with 2 great looks. The one Jay diagrammed and that one, that diagonal to the corner. Just set him up beautifully.
Largest lead now for Pittsburgh, 6 points, nearly midway through the half. Villanova has turned it over on 7 of their last 10 possessions. Benjamin called for the foul, a bit too rough with Sumter along the block. Second on Benjamin.
The one thing we heard Jamie say today, we passed very well. This diagonal pass after the breakdown, the gamble outside by Clark set that up, but they do pass and catch. Rather simple, but it really helps you dominate.
I don't think you can be a great shooting team without being a really good passing team first.
Nardi, a difficult 3, and he gets it to go, fading to his left. Only 5 points for Nardi. They need him to heat it up here down the stretch. That helps get the crowd back into it. A 3-point game, more than midway through the second half now.
Boy, Villanova has to make tough shots because Pittsburgh's defense in the second half twice as good as it was in the first half.
Nice step.
Backed in on Sheridan and made it look easy.
He uses the dribble well. He steps well. He's very coordinated. And a feathery release. Mom and Dad look on.
He's from Emmaus, Pennsylvania, near Allentown, about an hour from here in Philadelphia.
Well, they travel to every game, Sean, by car. With the gas crunch, they switched to a more high-mileage vehicle.
Sumter bumped on the drive, and he'll go to the line. It's great from a basketball family. His uncle Steve was a player at Duke in the late 70s on a team that went to the Final Four with Mike Jaminski and others.
You can see Gray catching it off the block and just backing down Will Sheridan. There you can see the strength and the size difference. And one thing that's so great about him, he's very patient in the post. When he doesn't have it, he kicks it back out, and that makes his teammates want to pass it back to him because they know if he doesn't have it, they're going to be able to get a shot.
You know, they got away from the gas guzzler, and I know you're on big automobiles and your affluence reveals itself.
Well, Jay should make a lot of money. He's on TV 24 hours a day. I mean, it's ESPN-J coming to a cable system near you.
I'm shuttled around in a hybrid.
We're going to do an all-access J.
Yes. 1 out of 2 for Sumter. The foul on Benjamin, his 3rd. 9 minutes to go now. Pittsburgh by 4.
Let the big guy make a decision on the block.
Fields with Graves, Gray, Kendall, and Cook, the starting 5 on the floor for Jamie Dixon. Graves, some good ball handling in traffic, found Fields for an open 3 that spins out to Sumter. And now Reynolds with Nardi, Sumter, Cunningham, and Sheridan for Villanova.
Sumter's got a matchup. He's got Fields on him.
Sheridan a deep 2. That's his shot. He's a good corner shooter. 4 points for Will Sheridan, the senior from Bear, Delaware. 2-point game, another typical night in the Big East. Graves missed it 2. Sheridan attacked the rebound.
That was a bad shot because it was a challenge jump shot. Pittsburgh could have gotten better.
Reynolds turns the corner. Reynolds bumped by Gray. Gets the score. No whistle. It's a tie game with 7:45 to go.
That contact actually helped him. And it's alive here right now in Philly.
Graves, a strong drive to quiet the 18,017 fans in attendance here tonight.
That's a kiss that silenced everybody. Terrific use of the bounce, a little hesitation, and then turning it up.
Villanova brought the double team when it went inside to Gray.
Reynolds shut off by Graves. Graves has 6 points after that big bucket a moment ago. He averages 10. Sumter off the feed from Nardi. Short with the 3 ball. Ricocheted back to him, and he's fouled on the way up by Levon Kendall. So Sumter will have a chance at the line to tie it after a media timeout. Scotty Reynolds, the acrobatic score at one end to ignite the crowd, but they were quieted on the clutch 2-pointer by Graves.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Coming up just after the top of the hour, Alex Marich leading Nebraska, I should say, trying to pull off the upset of Kansas. Coming up in just a few moments.
Well, we might have a bit of a delay here. See the officials looking at the court. They had a promotion during this timeout. Fans were throwing lettuce into a shopping cart. And the lettuce exploded every time it hit the side of the shopping cart.
Well, the part's cleaning up the dressing.
Well, Larry Brown and the others in attendance were saying, that's really a pretty stupid promotion. You wind up with lettuce all over the court.
Jay's wondering how he get the lettuce home.
Even Larry's shaking his head.
Oh. Now somebody's going to slip on that at some point.
Yeah.
What kind of dressing is on that
That's why it's a really stupid promotion. Still see the little bits of lettuce. They were throwing large round heads of lettuce from midcourt to a shopping cart that was about at the free throw line. When they ricocheted off the side of the cart, they exploded all over the place. Of course, Larry Brown back in the Sixers organization now in the front office. He and Jay Wright are very good friends, and there have been a lot of rumors in Philadelphia that the Sixers might come after Jay Wright to be their coach. Larry Brown has attended a number of Villanova practices over the years, back to when he was the coach of the Sixers. Jay Wright has visited the Sixers on occasion. Jay Wright said, I love my job. I've had no contact with the Sixers. He's certainly done a great job at Villanova. They don't want Jay to leave. I think either way, he'd do great because he's got the kind of personality to relate to players that would serve him well in the NBA if he ever made that move.
Larry wouldn't do, if he likes him, he wouldn't do that to him. That's a tough position to be in at his age. I mean, he's got to. Now these refs are finally earning their money. They don't do anything around the house.
Carl Hess has got the broom and he's sweeping up.
There's the job Jay Wright has done. I think Jay, actively involved in a lot of aspects of the program, will ask them to cancel the lettuce tossing for the rest of the season. But 28 wins last year, Big East regular season co-champs. The 28 wins, a school record for a single season. He's one of those guys that in recent years, every time a job comes open, his name gets mentioned. Not only a great coach, but if there's a nicer person in coaching in college basketball, I don't know who that is.
Well, Villanova took good care of him, though.
Yes.
I think he's very happy. His family's content. I think it would be a monumental decision and a very difficult one. He loves where he's at. They enjoy him. And you're right. He's a great example to other guys to relax and enjoy what you're doing.
Great ability to relate to players and get the most out of them. Sumter's free throws have tied the game. Graves badgered all the way. Again, good job with the dribble. Graves for 3, and the rebound by Sumter.
And he got suckered into taking that shot. Good job there by Shane Clark.
Automatic switch here and see if they take advantage. They love Sumter on the block.
Well, Villanova brought out the old lettuce gate to freeze the opposition. Clark missed a long 3. Fields has it back from Cook and scores to give the Panthers a 2-point edge.
And a great decision by Cook. Giving it up. Great angle. Great timing.
14 for Lamance Fields. His season high 24 in their win at Syracuse. Sumter Defended by Kendall, and a reach in by Graves to take it away. They run again, and it's Fields again.
They can pass. Jamie said it best today. We're good with the ball, and we're unselfish.
And he thinks the big reason why their three-point percentage is so high, they move the ball unselfishly. They wait for great open shots, and when they're that open, they make them.
Well, skip the pickle, skip the fuss. The salad doesn't come in the way here as they blow by and give it up. The terrific timing, and of course the ability to finish. Fields a tough kid on both ends of the floor, Jay.
And running in different ways. First off the missed shot, getting down in transition, then off the Sumter turnover. And having the advantage in numbers. And this Pittsburgh team, strong mentally, strong physically, and much more resolute to get down and guard people in the second half than they were in the first.
10 of his 16 points here in the second half for Levance Fields. Jay, we first saw him in the Michael Jordan Classic in New York City in his hometown. He was great in that game. 18 points in the second half. Coming out of Xaverian High School in New York.
And how about the threes the other night? 6 of them against St. John's.
Reynolds guarded by Graves. Reynolds strong to the bucket. Off to Sumter. Contact and a blocking foul called on Levon Kendall.
Good players find somebody. Scotty Reynolds, in a sense, bailed out, but you've got to make yourself available, and Sumter does.
And Sumter seeks out the contact. He was not only going to the basket, he was going into the defender, looking to get to the free throw line at worst.
8 out of 11 from the line tonight. He's taken 11 of their 14 free throws. 3 fouls on Levon Kendall. Each team called for 6 in this half. The next to be the bonus for each. Of course, the minutes down for Sumter in the last 2 games against Providence and Notre Dame as a result of the shin injury. Back to a 2-point game. 19 for Curtis Sumter. He averages 18 per game, 3rd in the Big East.
Really have to keep it off the sideline when you're bringing the ball up, because that is where Villanova's looking to trap.
5 minutes to go. 15 seconds to shoot for Pittsburgh.
Nice rotation here.
Oh, Gray's pass almost hit the rim. Fields with 5 to shoot. Graves, nicely done. Used the body to hold off the defender and score.
And Sean, he's passed the ball well. He's been able to get in the lane and create. Superb job.
8 points for Graves. He benefited from a camp he attended this summer in Las Vegas. Played against a lot of NBA players, including Chauncey Billups. Here he comes again. Off it goes to Fields. Swatted by Sumter, but body contact apparently.
Graves just playing great, Jay. He got the deflection on the last play, but here able to ward off, hang a little bit, and deliver, and defensively not giving up on this play. Guys by him, he's got the big stepping up, deflect, kick, and get the other way.
And even when he was beat off the dribble, able to reach from behind the ball handler and knock that ball away.
Fields misses the first. He's 73%. Foul on Sumter was his first. Well, Villanova is now over the limit. 1 out of 2 for Levance Fields. There's Sam Young back in. And some have compared him to Curtis Sumter because of his size and playing style, but Young's still a work in progress. I think he has the ability to be that kind of a player.
Really had some problems with tendonitis, taking a lot away from his athleticism.
Cunningham missed a shorty, perhaps affected by Aaron Gray.
Boy, he couldn't have gotten it in better position, Sean.
And they need it down by 5 with nearly 4 minutes to go now.
And they need to get the ball into Gray with Shane Clark on him. That's a favorable matchup. He can just lock him down.
They ought to do a little high-low, Jay. They just let him pin. They love to cross screen, and look at Nardi with a great denial.
12 seconds to shoot after the media timeout. Aaron Gray a double-double, and Pittsburgh leads by 5.
Meet 6'11" Alex Marich as he leads the Big Red in their packed house here in Lincoln against number 6 Kansas in a Big 12 showdown here on Big Monday. Now let's go back to Sean McDonough.
All right, Ron, thank you. We'll look forward to that. Looking forward to perhaps an exciting finish here. 3:50 to go. Pittsburgh with a 5-point lead. It was 47 apiece, but they're on a 7-2 run, and it's been a tale of two halves for the Panthers. Did not shoot well and turned it over with regularity in the first half. They've been great with the ball and have shot at a high percentage, 55% here in the second half.
You know what makes a good team? Different guys step up each night. You're not sure who's going to beat you, but collectively they find the guy. Thus far, down the stretch, Graves has been sensational.
They have 12 seconds to shoot as they throw it in to Gray, and he's bumped by Sheridan. And a trip to the line for Aaron Gray. Well, that's really been the story throughout this Ben Howland, Jamie Dixon era. You think of all the successes they've had, winningest team in the Big East in the last 5 years in overall record. And yet they don't have a single player right now, Pittsburgh, in the NBA.
Well,
a lot of good college players, but they don't have anybody playing in the NBA right now. Chris Taft is cut by Golden State. Karl Krauser's playing over in Germany.
But it's all about team with these guys, and Jamie personifies that. He's just been magnificent at the helm.
Winning at a higher percentage than Ben Howland. Of course, at the beginning, Ben Howland had to turn it around. But Dixon has maintained that winning percentage and improved upon it. Nardi's bucket gives him 7 points, makes it a 3-point game with 3:25 to go. In fact, Jamie Dixon, having won 70% of his games in Big East Conference play, is the winningest coach right now in the history of this league by percentage. In a league populated by a number of Hall of Fame coaches.
Very impressive.
Graves has been huge down the stretch. But stuck in the air. Sumter battles Young. They hold it with 1 second on the shot clock. It ticked to 0. And on the arrow, it goes to Villanova. But Mike Kitts is going to talk to the other officials and ask, was there a shot clock violation before the held ball? That's big because then Villanova would keep the arrow.
It's the horn now on the shot clock.
But he blew the whistle before the horn.
Right.
See the pass there knocked away.
Yeah, that's well
before. Yeah, you see Bob Donato put his hands in the air. There was still 1 second on the clock. The officials got it right. So they go to the arrow. It is Villanova ball. Down by 3, 2:58 to go. The next held ball will go to Pittsburgh. Clark will play it into Nardi. Cunningham, Sheridan, and Sumter. The rest of the fivesome for Jay Wright. Reynolds on the bench at the moment. Jamie Dixon defending with Fields, Graves, Kendall, Gray, and Cook. His starting five. Cunningham handed it off to Nardi. Sumter wanted it, but Cook was on his hip.
We got a ball reversal here.
Clark in trouble. Out to Sumter. 10 seconds to shoot. 2.5 minutes left in regulation time. They need a shot. Nardi gets open and banks it in with the shot clock expiring.
Experience. A little kiss at the end, but going left with a clear out.
And the poise of Mike Nardi playing the point with Reynolds on the bench.
Cook defended by Cunningham. Tough pass for Fields, rescued by Cook. Under 2 minutes to go. 12 to shoot for the Panthers, ahead by 1. Cook, one-on-one on Sumter. Graves for 3.
Oh, my goodness. This kid has stepped it up, put it all out there.
This is the best I have ever seen Antonio Graves play, and he's had some really good games, but has done it on both ends here in Philadelphia.
Plus 50% shooter.
11 points for Graves. He's been huge in the second half. Nardi
off
Fields' his foot. Or Graves, perhaps. Bob Donato said it hit you, and the Panthers don't argue strenuously. They know it was the right call. What a 3 by Graves. The lead 4 for Pittsburgh. Under a minute and a half to go.
I think they got to get Sumter side. Usually screens and then posts or flares. Here he is.
Sumter 1-on-1 on Cook. And Cook called for the foul. He's had a rough night. Has not scored.
See Graves off the pass, stepping right into his shot. The defense late getting there, and he has been money all this second half.
And why not enjoy? You have done a heck of a job.
It's a 17 foul on Pittsburgh, so this is a 1-and-1 for Sumter. Very good free throw shooter. Villanova, the best free throw shooting team in the league. Sumter at 80% for the year. 77% is third in the country collectively.
Pretty impressive, Sean, huh?
Yep, and all of them key players. Just to get them within 2. And he rattled it home.
This becomes a huge defensive possession right now for Villanova.
They bring a little pressure, looking to trap. Pittsburgh by 2 as we tick down to 1 minute to go at a raucous Wachovia Center in Philadelphia.
They got the mismatch they want with Gray.
Field steps into a 3.
Boy, they have just on the perimeter reached back and stuck it.
Well, Pittsburgh, the best three-point shooting team in the conference. Villanova last in the league in defending the 3. And that's been the story here in the last couple of moments. A couple of open threes for Graves and Fields, and each knocked it down.
Well, Levance Fields, an outstanding shooter when he's got a little bit of time and can set his feet. And you can see Pittsburgh showing that emotion here in this second half that they didn't show in the first half.
So many options on the perimeter that Jamie can go to. They dribble, they create cracks. A lot of options because they have the confidence to drill them from deep.
Best three-point shooting team in the conference. They've improved on their percentage by just a bit tonight. So many years under Howland and Dixon, you think of them as a good interior passing team, those strong players inside, but outstanding shooters on the perimeter, and that's been the big weapon for Pittsburgh this year, the 3-ball.
And now Villanova's got a lot of things they can do. I think they got to think 2, and they love that late ball screen where they sprint up, let the guy turn the corner, and then create.
Well, they've got Reynolds back in the ball game just for that, to try to create something off the dribble. I think they do need to get to the rim here.
They were just setting it up. Got to do it quicker and protect it.
Nardi with Reynolds, Sumter, Cunningham, and Clark.
And Graves got his hand on that one, Sean. This kid's been all over.
45 seconds to go. Villanova with the ball down by 5. Sometimes it's hard to work quickly against this excellent defensive Pittsburgh team. Sumter blocked by Gray.
And they're going to go against Sumter.
Yes, he went over the back of Graves after Gray had blocked it. They were going for the free ball, and Sumter called for the foul.
And you forget how good they are defensively, Jay. Look at Gray all over, assisting, getting a major piece of that, and you can just see that little discard.
He grabbed Graves by the hand. So Graves, 65.5 from the line for the season. 1 out of 2 there tonight. 1-and-1 opportunity. Antonio Graves has had a fascinating career. He was a very late commitment. Was going to go to prep school out of high school in Mansfield, Ohio. Was not highly recruited. Pittsburgh had a scholarship open up late. They needed a body. They signed him in August before his freshman year. Back up as a freshman. Starter as a sophomore. Back up last year. Starter this year.
Quick hitters now. Got to go to the rim or a quick pass and shoot.
Villanova facing its biggest deficit. Nardi fouled by Kendall. You could read Jamie Dixon's lips in the last time out. Don't foul, and that was a bad foul by Kendall.
But Nardi made it, Sean, though. He went after, body searched, leaned in. Heady play by the little guy.
Well, you don't want to just let him score, but at the same time, Well, you stop that clock, allow a really good free throw shooter to step to the line, and now Villanova has an opportunity to set up a press.
We're finished here. It's off to Lincoln, Nebraska, Big 12 action. Kansas and the Cornhuskers.
And oh boy, chance for that. Nice play by Ronald Ramon. If you don't take the shooter, that's another opportunity for Villanova. Just little things that make you a good basketball team.
A rare miss from the line by Nardi, so it's still a 6-point game, 25.7 to go.
Right in here, you just see the heads-up play by the guard. And they got Fields there as well, just to protect that little Michael Jordan play where they run a guy right down the lane.
This Pittsburgh team, they do a very good job of seeking out contact and boxing out. Even the guards get in and rebound.
Ramon, a very good free throw shooter at 84%.
Well, these practices are easy compared to what his dad did, right?
Yeah.
That's what they tell us, pushing all the guys. Fields wasn't crazy about it, but it's made them tougher, I think.
Ronald Ramon was recovering from shoulder surgery over the summer. His dad came to Pittsburgh for a month to work Ronald out and his teammates. 8-point game now. Villanova is about to make it 2 losses in a row. If it stays this way, they won't go quietly into the night. Reynolds with a deep 3 to keep hope alive for the Cats. 5-point game, 18.2 to go. And if this stays in the win column for Pittsburgh, it'll be Antonio Graves getting most of the attaboys after the game.
Well, doing a great job knocking down shots, making big plays off the dribble, and I thought he passed the ball so well. We're showing all of his scores, but I think his passes, Bill, as much as anything, helped set up this Pittsburgh win. If they're able to hang on, still a long way to go, 18.2 seconds, but Antonio Graves had a terrific second half.
2 passes come to mind, the baseline drive and kick for the open jumper for Benjamin, then the diagonal for another jumper. And how about the deflection, Sean? He's played both ends of the floor, stepped up. They always find somebody to contribute.
Villanova's going to want to look quickly to try to steal this inbounds pass. If not, they don't have a lot of choices. They've got to foul right away.
Now look at that hustle.
And Ramon, the excellent free throw shooter, fouled by Reynolds. He'll shoot 2. It's the double bonus. Boy, heading into Saturday, guys, Villanova on the roll. They had won 3 straight, all against quality opponents, Notre Dame, Texas, and at Providence. Looked like they were in command of the game Saturday at Notre Dame to make it 4 impressive wins in a row, but wound up losing that. Looking at a defeat in all likelihood here tonight, which would drop them to 3-5 in the Big East, with some tough games still to be played. The good news for Villanova, most of their remaining action is here at home, beginning with this game, 7 of the last 10 at home.
Lane violation, I believe.
Graves left the line.
Yeah. Not a heady play.
Just a mental mistake.
Negating the second opportunity for Ramon. So it's a 6-point game. Sumter shoots a 3. Nardi steps into a better 3 that pops out. Sumter had it blocked by Kendall, and that's it. Pittsburgh's won 10 out of 11. They win their 20th game of the year. 6th year in a row they've accomplished that. Final score, Pittsburgh 65 and Villanova 59. Coming up next, number 6 Kansas at Nebraska's Big Monday presented by Bud Light continues. Now for Jay Billis and Bill Raftery, I'm Sean McDonough saying so long from Philadelphia. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Antonio Graves a star. Levance Fields had 20 points. Aaron Gray had a double-double in the Panthers win. Now Reese Davis in the studio.
All right, Sean, Pittsburgh able to prove its worth on the road. Now Kansas and Sharon Collins will try to do the same. Kansas at Nebraska. Tip-off coming up.